Welcome to Talk Travel with Heather Tate, North Mississippi's podcast for savvy travelers. Talk Travel with Heather Tate is a weekly podcast that airs every Monday on the Shark 102.3 FM radio station based in Ripley, Mississippi, and is then released as a podcast. Travel advisor and travel enthusiast Heather Tate of Whimsical Destinations gives listeners expert travel tips curated through the years of personal and professional experience. By clicking subscribe, you'll have a new travel tip to add to your collection delivered to your podcast library every Monday. Talk Travel with Heather Tate is brought to you by Sun Bear Studio. Sun Bear Studio is a boutique recording studio in the heart of Ripley, Mississippi. When you record with us at Sun Bear Studio, we can mix, master, register, and publish your music, your podcast, or your family story. Email us when you're ready at sunbear@jc.media.
Good morning, Northeast Mississippi travelers. This is Heather with Talk Travel with Heather Tate, and I am so excited to share my adventures and tried and true tips with you, whether you are also a seasoned traveler, a hopeful traveler, or currently an armchair traveler, meaning you're going to follow along with us from home for now. This is our 171st episode of Talk Travel with Heather Tate, and this week you are in for an epic adventure because I'm going to tell you all about our one-day experience at Universal's Epic. So last month, we had a family fall trip to Universal Studios, which is my boys' favorite theme park. We go almost every year. They love the thrill rides. We love the environment. They love staying at the resorts and being close to the parks, being able to walk or take a boat or the bus being right there. So they were really excited to go to Universal again this year. But what made it even more exciting for them is they were getting to go to their very first new theme park, and that's Epic. It opened May 21st of this year, and it is incredible. I remember going to Universal's Islands of Adventure when I went. It was Y2K, so it was in the year 2000, and that was my first time going to a brand new, just opened theme park. And I remember my experience and being blown away. And my 13-year-old London said for him what made it so exciting was that it was a new theme park for all of us. It was the first time that the four of us had been, and so we got to experience it together. Now, I was invited to go on a preview early May, back when it was open for Universal employees and for some preferred travel agencies. So I was invited to go. Logan and I both were. But we turned it down because we were also going to be in St. Vincent and the Grenadines that week. But even more importantly, London and Christian would have been very upset if we had gone to Epic without them because they've been looking forward to it for years now. So I'm glad that the first time we went was with them. So I'm going to give you some overall impressions. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, some things I learned that no amount of research could have prepared me for some things. So I'm going to give you an insider scoop on that today. And overall impressions, it was beautiful. They knocked it out of the park. The theming, second to none, right? So just think, it's not like a theme park where they keep adding things to it, which they're going to add, right? But that it started 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, right? That this is brand new. So they brought their biggest and best at every moment. It only has 11 attractions overall, like 11 rides. And when we were there, one of the 11 rides, the biggest one, which is Stardust Racers, it was temporarily closed. So we did everything. We did the 10 attractions. We did not do that one. We did everything else. And every experience I thought was great. The way it's divided, instead of islands, like Islands of Adventures, or lands, like other theme parks have lands, it has portals. And the portals are kept so separate from each other that you go into one portal and it really feels like you're in another place. And then you come out of that portal, have your central area, which is the Celestial Park, the fifth portal, and then you go into another one. So it all kind of, it's like spokes on a wheel is a good way of looking at it. Celestial Park is the center, and the other portals are the wheel spokes. So you had Super Nintendo World, Ministry of Magic, which is another Harry Potter world, the third Harry Potter world, Isle of Berk, which is the How to Train a Dragon, and Dark Universe, which is going to be your monsters. And think about Halloween and spooky things year round. A lot of variety. A lot of variety here. I'll tell you some of our favorite rides, but I'm going to tell you a little bit more about each one of the portals. The first portal we started with was Super Nintendo World. When I say that it made me feel like my childhood all over again, it did. From the moment you go up the escalator and you come out and you hear the sound, it takes you to when you started playing Mario Brothers for the first time, Super Nintendo for the first time. And it's like I was in middle school all over again. And then they have a Donkey Kong section of Super Nintendo World, which has one of my favorite rides, the Minecart Madness. It was fantastic. There's so many little things that you could easily miss if you rush through it. You have to take your time in each one of these lands because they are truly immersive. In Super Nintendo World, you could get these bracelets. So think magic bands, but they're not magic bands. They're called power-up bands. They're about $40, $45. We did not get them this time because I knew my goal was to go on every single attraction and to catch the shows. But these power-up bands that are only available, or that you only use them in Super Nintendo World, they're interactive. They allow you to collect digital coins, play games, no charging's needed. They can be used for multiple visits. They track and keep your progress, so it's permanent. And the kids absolutely loved those, getting to see them. Christian really wanted one. I told him, I was like, next time we come, I will get you a power-up band. But this time we're going and we're experiencing every one of the portals. And I knew if he got that, he would not want to leave. So I'm glad we started with Super Nintendo World because it was the most jaw-dropping of all the lands. A lot of stairs. That's something you need to know, things to be prepared for. The most stairs were in Super Nintendo World. Lots of kids, and it felt very crowded. We went on a Sunday, and this was an off time. We went in September. So when I tell you that everybody wants to be at Epic this year, they do. And I'm going to be real. If we did not get the extra express passes, we would not have been able to ride all 10 things. And I knew that. And so it was like buying a second ticket for us to go this one day. But I felt like if I'm going to go and be able to experience every attraction there and get to see the shows, we're going to have to get the express pass for our Epic Day. And I 100% stand beside that decision that we did. So I would encourage you, if you're still planning on going this year, if you're going during a busy time, a holiday, if you're going when school is out, unless you're going for 2 days, multiple days, I cannot imagine being able to do everything because the lines were very long. So very crowded, even on a non-crowded time of year. Super Nintendo World being the most crowded, so hit it early. If you can go early, be there when they open. We had a 14-hour day this day. We were there an hour before they opened, and we were there after closing in order to get everything in and actually take some time. We ate a lot, too, on this trip. We'll talk about the food in just a moment. So Minecart Madness, we got there. It was only a 20-minute wait. Here's where I made a rookie mistake, and I should have known better. I am used to now staying at a Universal resort that includes the express passes, which are unlimited. So we stayed at a Universal Studios resort, Royal Pacific. We were able to go to Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios with our express passes, and they were unlimited. When I bought the additional express pass for Epic, those are not unlimited. You get to ride each ride or attraction one time, and then you can't use your express for that again. So when we got there, we went straight to the Minecart Madness. It was a 20-minute wait. I should have gotten in the 20-minute line and ridden it once at only a 20-minute wait and then done my express afterwards. But what I did it in reverse. We hopped on the express. We were super excited, got off, loved the ride, wanted to do the ride again. And then now the wait was 90 minutes. And that short time, it jumped up to 90 minutes and it never went down. I saw it at 240 minutes at some points during the day. We went back later in the day to see if the line went down. It did not. So if you see a short line for an attraction that you want to ride and you have the express, be sure to ride it without the express first and then ride it with the express when the line goes up if you wanted to ride it an additional time. So we rode everything there. We did the Super Mario Kart where you had the coolest headsets and you got to go into Bowser's Castle, which was so incredible. This ride was unlike any ride I've ever experienced because it's like 2 rides in one. So it's like you're playing a game and moving at the same time. So if you've done some like activity, interactive games before on rides where like maybe it's like a shooting game, like Toy Story ride at Hollywood Studios, think that, but at a whole nother level. And that would be a good way of thinking about it. Oh, there's so much more to talk about. Battle of the Ministry, which is in Harry Potter World. So Harry Potter World here is like 1920s Paris meets magic and wizards. So it's a very cool atmosphere. I loved it. The show here Wow. I mean, it was Lycurca Arcanus. Fantastic. So it's like a circus, but more. Christian didn't think he wanted to do any of the shows until he went. And I'm telling you, the shows brought tears to my eyes. They were so well done. We also did The Untrainable Dragon. The music in How to Train a Dragon is so inspiring. It's so epic. That's why they call it, epic, that it brought me to tears as well. Also fantastic. Another good reason for having the express passes is something you need to know. Not only are the crowds going to be long, not only are there going to be stairs, right? A lot of up and down in Super Mario World, but the rides still have some kinks to them. And like if they need to shut down, it takes a while for them to get back going. So having the express passes really helped us to bypass being in line for 2 and 3 hours. We were able to do the Ministry of Magic, probably a 45-minute wait. And the queue itself, they spent $1 billion on, and it is very noticeable. I think the queue was just as impressive to me as the ride. And I've never said that before about any ride I've ever done. It was worth it. If you just walk through the queue, you'd be impressed. We were able to do it again later in the evening with a 30-minute wait. So we did it twice, and some people can't even do it once because that line can be 5 hours long, and there's no way. I'm talking Logan and Christian into waiting 5 hours. London maybe, but the two of them are not going to do it. The third show was a nightly fountain show called The Cosmos, is how the park closes for the night. Definitely worth staying and watching for. So it's not your fireworks show like on the castle like at Disney, but it's still just mind-blowing. The food, I have to talk a minute about the food because usually theme park food is a little lackluster. If we're honest, it is. It's lackluster. Not this park. From the pizza to the mac and cheese cones to the most amazing butterbeer crepe. I can't imagine a crepe being any better than this crepe I had that was butterbeer flavored in Harry Potter World. Like that, it exceeded my expectations. The food exceeded my expectations by far. And there's so many fun things we didn't even get to try, but Logan thought we ate like 4 times that day, and we did. I told him, I was like, this is the day we're eating. That's it for this edition of Talk Travel with Heather Tate. Tune in every Monday at 11 a.m. to turn your travel dreams into travel plans. Wherever you go and whatever you do, life is an adventure. It's short, so make it count. Spend time with those you love. Take the trip. You won't regret it.
This show is made possible by JC Media, LLC in Ripley, Mississippi. JC Media owns the Shark 102.3 Classic Rock FM radio station where the show is hosted, and Sun Bear Recording Studio where the interviews are recorded. We need your feedback and support. If you listen to the podcast on a player like iTunes, Google Podcast, or Amazon Music, please subscribe to the show and leave us a review. We also have an email in which you can share your feedback. That email is theshark1023@gmail.com. Subscribe to our podcast on your favorite app or stream episodes online at shark1023.com/podcasts. Today's episode was produced by Melinda Marsalis. It was edited by Rick Williams and engineered by Chris Marsalis. The podcast technician is Joyce Grady.